Shall Section 13 of the Charter of the City of Akron be amended to increase the time to obtain signatures to 50 days? That sounds reasonable. Clearly, that 10 days means 10 business days, and prohibit the circulation of recall petitions during the last 6 months of a public official's term in office and for 6 months after an unsuccessful recall attempt. They're raising that dirty word of recall again, aren't they? Shall Section 17 of the Charter of the City of Akron be amended to increase the time period initiative legislation will be submitted to the voters to 60 days. Shall Section 19 of the Charter of the City of Akron be amended to increase the period of time in which to obtain signatures to 50 days and increase the time period the referendum legislation is submitted to the voters to 60 days to allow time for ballots to be printed for absentee voting? Shall Section 21 of the Charter of the City of Akron be amended to require the number of petitions for initiative and referendums to be based on the number of qualified electors registered to vote at the last general municipal election? And shall Section 22 of the Charter of the City of Akron be amended to clarify that 10 days means 10 business days and to identify the changes in the duties of the clerk of council caused by the lengthening of time to get petitions? Yes or no? Chrissy?
Wow.
Again, there's a lot there.
There's a lot there. And again, it's the sugar pill and the poison. It sounds really good. They say, oh, we're going to give people more time to get signatures, when in effect they're not. We currently have 60. We have 60 days
50.
currently.
Isn't 50?
50. Well, we have 60 total.
Yes.
We have 50 to get signatures, and then we have 10 days after the Board of Elections looks at it and throws out this petition, this petition, this petition. You have 10 days to go back and get more. They're taking.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You actually have 20. They have 10 days where they review the signatures, and technically, we think you could actually be gathering signatures during that time period too.
And you get another 20.
And then you get another 20 days to make up any lack of signatures.
Right.
They're doing away with that ability to fix the number of signatures.
But listen, all that is merely a distraction. Right. Whether it's 50 days or 60 days or 40 like this or 20, it's irrelevant because the signature threshold is going to be raised so high. Yeah. I mean, give me 120 days, doesn't matter. The days are almost irrelevant when you consider that we need 3,600 signatures today, something I've been trying to do all summer and fall. 3,600 now, they want to raise it to 13,000. So give me all the days you want. All that is mumbo jumbo. And it's made to make you feel good because we're going to give you more days.
Just like the last one. This one here specifically talks about qualified electors. That means all registered voters. Okay? And so just like the last one, that raised the qualified, that raised the requirement, the bar, about 4 times, 400%. This one does too, but this one talks more specifically about initiative and referendum now.
And let me explain that. When council passes a bad law, right now, if in 30 days we can get 3,600 signatures valid, we can get that law on the ballot so that we can choose to vote it up or down. That's what they want to do away with. That's a check on the council's power. And I don't think we've ever had a referendum in the city, frankly.
No, I don't think so.
But
it's been abused, Warner.
Yeah, well.
It's been abused.
I don't think we've ever had a referendum, but I mean, they want to destroy our ability to counteract what council may have done in passing a bad law.
My feeling about the whole thing, it's not so much that the mayor and his law department oppose the referendum process. They oppose what it has been used for. Okay, and like Warner said a little bit ago, it's been used for putting campaign limits on the politicians downtown in '98, and it's been used to save our sewers. So that's what they really object to, is how it's been used. It has not been abused, in my opinion, because I can only find 4 times it's ever been tried or used, okay, successful referendums. Now, pardon me?
Those were initiatives.
Initiatives. Initiatives is when you try to get something on the ballot, a law made on the ballot. A referendum is when you try to overturn a law that was passed. So, like I said, I can only think of, like I should have said, I can only think of 4 successful initiatives that were put on the ballot. Of those 4, 2 were voted down, 2 passed. The 2 passed that are part of our charter, their charter amendments, are the campaign finance reform, that limits the contributions that politicians downtown can take, And the other one is the Save Our Sewer initiative, which the people also voted overwhelmingly to require a vote of the people if they want to sell, lease any of our public utilities. Chrissy?
Well, and absolutely, but if you read the literature, it says limiting the ability to force special elections that cost way too much. So this, I mean, when somebody looks at this and they're not aware of what the language says and what it truly means and the history behind it, this makes it seem like, exactly like they said, that people are doing this all the time, when that's simply not accurate.
Well, if you remember last year when we had the recall that Warner was the leader of, that did cost some money because that was a special election in the middle of June. And, but, you know, if you time this right, it's going to be on the ballot for a general election. And I think 98, the campaign finance reform was on the November election. I think the one, to Save Our Sewers, was at a regularly scheduled election. So the extra cost is very minimal, and much less than it costs to print this stuff here that's going to be on the ballot, okay? So,
and that's an interesting point. I mean, we could choose as a city to say when we have a recall, it goes at the next regularly scheduled election.
Right.
The way the
Change that.
law is written, it wasn't me who caused it to be in June.
Right.
It was the way the law was written. We had an election coming up. They wouldn't put it on that election in September. They wanted it to be in June.
yeah.
So we could actually make our own law to say, hey, if we have a recall, it's at the next regularly scheduled election so that it doesn't cost additional money.
Right.
But that's not how it was. And frankly, City Hall forced the issue and made sure it took place in June and made sure that it cost additional money.
I think another thing that Citizens for Akron is trying to do, like, you know, that's just your average citizen. Like, if I wasn't in politics, I might not remember what I learned back in 9th grade civics class about what's a referendum, what's an initiative. I don't think if you polled the people, they would really know what they are. They probably know what a recall is, okay? Especially since we had one last year. But they're trying to lump initiative and referendum in with recall. And I think, okay, they're separate things. I think a recall is a very serious move. And to throw somebody out of office is much more of a serious procedure than initiative or referendum, which are really direct democracy provisions. So,
Of course, I disagree with
Yeah, I
Bruce.
know.
Recall is a direct democracy
I
as
know.
well. And just so everybody knows, 7,700 people signed petitions to recall this mayor. That's almost as many as voted for him. Now, at some point, we deserve an election, and
Yeah.
the way it works is if you get 7,700 to sign a petition to say, hey, put him back on the ballot, I want to vote on him again, you know, we did have the right. That right is actually gone already. They took
yeah,
that
they already
away
took
from
it away
us.
last year.
So,
Ernie, did you want to say something?
I just want to, you know, again, we're discussing the recall. We shouldn't be discussing the recall
No.
because these are completely different animals.
Yeah, but they're trying to lump them all together, is
They
my
are.
point.
But a recall calls for an immediate action because somebody's done something wrong.
Yeah.
Or hasn't.
Don't like 'em.
But that's up to the voters. An initiative is totally different. It's, let's put an issue on the next regularly scheduled ballot. It doesn't cost us any more.
Right.
So again, they're trying to use smoke and mirrors to take your eye off the prize. The prize is, do we have the right to directly affect our democracy? Everywhere else in America they do. In Akron, they don't want you to do that.
Does anybody else got anything to say about issue 12 here? Okay. Anybody here? Okay. Another thing is, again, there's a number of things here. There's more here than meets the eye. It seems to have the sugar coating here. It talks about, in the first sentence, about adding additional days. Okay, you notice that's right at the beginning. Okay, increase the time to obtain signatures. Okay, a lot of people just read the first sentence and go, that sounds like a good idea. I'll vote yes. So, I mean, this stuff just doesn't fall out of air. This stuff is put together by the politicians that were promoting it, and they also have a lot of clout in the Board of Elections that approved this language. And again, it violates what Warner mentioned, a single issue principle, that every single one of these should just address one single thing. So